Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're diving into a topic that really fascinates a lot of people, brings up a lot of intensity twin
That's
flames.
right. And we've got this collection of material, articles, bits and pieces that give a very specific viewpoint on this whole connection.
Yeah, they cover the energy, the challenges, which sound unique, and even like astrology's role in it.
So our job today really is to unpack all of that, pull out the key ideas from these sources, and try to understand the journey they map out.
Right, especially focusing on what they call the divine masculine energy and this path towards harmonious twin flame union. We're really sticking just to what's in this material provided.
Absolutely. It's a distinct lens, this perspective, and that's what we're exploring based purely on these texts.
Okay, so let's start with the basic concept. How do these sources define twin flames? It sounds, well, pretty unique.
It really does. They say twin flames are created from the same soul blueprint
Hmm.
by the divine or source universe.
Mm.
They use different terms.
So fundamentally the same origin.
Exactly. And they stress that they are one in eternity. They even use analogies like two quantum entangled particles, suggesting this unbreakable fundamental link.
Wow. Okay, so it's framed as the absolute ultimate relationship then.
That's the language they use. The
Yeah.
ultimate lover, eternal spiritual complement, even just the perfect person. Very definitive terms.
But it's presented as more than just, finding the perfect partner, right? It sounds deeper.
Oh, much deeper, according to these texts. The connection itself is described as a catalyst for spiritual transformation, something that goes beyond, normal time, space, physical reality.
And union, this state of being together, it's not just the end goal.
Well, they frame it as their natural state of being, like that's how they're supposed to be. They're very clear this connection is unmatched compared to soulmate or karmic relationships.
So a totally different category.
That's the implication. And the desire for this union, they say it's intrinsic to our innermost being, like it's built into us.
Okay, important point before we go further. One source mentions this, right? Divine masculine, divine feminine. It's about energy, not gender.
Yes, exactly. That's a crucial clarification they make. It's about the qualities, the energetic roles they play in this shared dynamic, not necessarily male or female bodies.
Good. So, keeping that in mind, let's talk about the divine masculine's journey. This seems like a big focus in the sources.
It really is. They spend a lot of time on this.
Okay. Because the picture painted is, well, he's often seen as distant, right? Like seemingly nowhere to be found. While the divine feminine is doing all this inner work.
That's the perception described, yes. But internally, the sources suggest something really profound is happening for him. A deep soul awakening, they call it, even if nobody sees it on the outside.
So what does that look like internally?
Well, they mention him feeling nostalgic, thinking back on shared moments, replaying the whole journey in his head, realizing how much meeting her changed things for him.
And it gets pretty intense from there based on these descriptions. There's talk of ego death.
Like his old ways of being, his old identity is breaking down. And he's starting to see the connection differently, more from his higher self, apparently, a more spiritual viewpoint.
That sounds painful. Does it bring up difficult emotions?
Hugely. The sources are explicit about regret, real ownership of past actions, understanding pain caused, feeling angry with himself.
Angry with himself, leading to feelings of unworthiness.
Exactly. Unworthiness and regret are mentioned specifically. It goes deep. The texts even say sometimes he hates himself for the way he has treated her.
Wow. So that inner turmoil, combined with how intense the connection supposedly is, it must create fear.
Oh, absolutely. Fear of losing her forever. That's described as causing great fear and pain.
And this internal chaos, it shows up in his behavior, makes him seem unreliable.
Yes, that's the link they make. His energy is described as unstable, wishy-washy. Like he might feel confident enough to move towards her,
Yeah.
then bam, fear hits and he pulls back.
Leading to more self-criticism, feeling like a coward, as one text puts it.
Right. It's this cycle, stuck in that back and forth energy. But, and this is key in the sources, he can't stop thinking about her. Deep down, he apparently knows she's his one and nobody else compares.
So despite all the fear and self-doubt, there's still this pull towards her.
A very powerful pull, according to the texts.
Yeah.
He desperately wants to be close to her again. And he's even like devising a plan to reach out, but he's held back by his insecurities.
It sounds like baby steps forward then.
Very much so. Slowly gaining confidence, but, he still doesn't fully believe in himself. So he might continue to love and admire her from a distance, dreaming of closeness, but hesitant.
Why hesitant? What's the block there?
The sources mention fear of disappointing her again, especially because his intimacy issues have not been cleared. He doesn't feel ready to commit fully yet.
But there's hope offered that some might actually reach out soon.
Yeah, they do suggest that. Some might find the courage to contact their divine feminine very soon. Maybe it's just a simple gesture, a text, an email, liking something on social media, maybe even unblocking her.
Just enough to keep that door slightly open.
Kind of. Holding on to hope she'll still be there when he is finally ready. But there's also this sense of pressure, like he knows his time is running out.
So these small steps forward are all about building that inner confidence.
That seems to be the driver. And here's a really interesting point the sources make about his hesitation. It's not about her. He has never doubted her. It's himself he doubts.
He simply doubts himself.
Wow.
Yeah. Which brings us back to self-love being key for both twins, right? But his journey, as laid out here, looks really different. It's this deep internal battle against feeling unworthy of love.
And that feeling, that unworthiness, is why he runs from the connection and pushes her away.
According to these texts, yes. That's the core dynamic they describe for him.
Okay, that feeling of unworthiness and the running connects really strongly to another big idea in these sources, doesn't it? The mirroring effect.
Absolutely fundamental. This is central to how they explain the whole thing works. The idea is because they come from the same soul blueprint and share this one consciousness, they're always reflecting things back and forth.
Exactly. Always mirroring to one another feelings or beliefs within that shared field. So your twin flame isn't just, reacting to external stuff. They are, quote, always mirroring back to you the state of your shared one consciousness.
So what you feel inside gets reflected.
That's the concept.
Yeah.
If you're doing well, thriving, loving yourself, enjoying your life purpose work, you apparently feel that joy coming back through them.
And the opposite is also true. If you're struggling.
Yes. If you're struggling to love yourself or heal your upsets, your twin flame also reflects this back to you. It's unavoidable, according to this framework.
And they state clearly that insecurities can be mirrored too.
Absolutely mirror insecurities, yes. They argue it's a perfect mirror, unlike with, say, soulmates or karmic partners, precisely because of that shared soul vibration, that shared consciousness.
Okay, dealing with a perfect mirror, especially when it's reflecting painful stuff, that sounds incredibly difficult. The sources do acknowledge challenges, right? Rife with pitfalls, I think was the phrase.
They do acknowledge it's tough, but then they immediately offer a tool. A specific technique they claim is the solution.
Ah, right. This is the Jeff and Shalea's mirror exercise they talk about.
Yes. And they make some pretty big claims about it, like it's the most powerful spiritual tool for self-transformation, even the only tool you'll ever need, and that it works every time.
Okay, bold claims. What's the underlying idea? How is it supposed to work?
The foundation, as they explain it, is that your entire external reality is a reflection of your inner world. You're only ever experiencing whatever is within you.
So when you feel upset by something outside yourself?
It's actually a call for love from within, according to this teaching. The upset isn't caused by the external thing. It's revealing something inside you that needs healing, which means the healing is totally in your hands.
Right. Okay, so let's walk through the steps. They give 4 steps with examples. Step 1.
Step 1, identify the upset. State it clearly, concisely. Their examples are things like, I'm upset with my twin flame because I feel rejected by him because he's ignoring me.
Or the other one. I'm upset with my mother because I feel abandoned by her and she doesn't support me or my choices. So you name the person, the feeling, and the specific action.
Exactly. Step 2 is where it gets interesting. You invert the pronouns. You point the whole statement back at yourself.
So I'm upset with my twin flame because he is ignoring me becomes,
I'm upset with myself because I feel I am rejecting myself and I am ignoring myself.
and the mother example becomes, I'm upset with myself because I abandoned myself and I don't support myself or my choices. Whoa.
Yeah, it's a direct flip. Step 3 is then asking yourself, is this inverted statement true?
And the sources insist the answer is always.
Always yes, because in their view, you can only perceive or be triggered by something externally if the root pattern exists within you already. It's just being mirrored.
So you have to find the truth in it for yourself. Like their examples. Yes, it's true. I don't acknowledge my feelings. I ignore and reject my own boundaries. I don't feel good enough.
Right. Or, yes, it's true. I doubt myself. I second-guess every choice. You find where you are doing that to yourself. That's the core recognition.
Okay, and once you see that truth in yourself, step 4 is the healing.
Step 4 is heal. You ask that part of yourself, the part that feels rejected, ignored, abandoned, unsupported by you, what it needs right now to feel loved and accepted.
And then you give it that, like visualization or just acceptance.
Yeah, could be visualizing, giving that part a hug, offering compassion, forgiveness, just acknowledging it fully.
Yeah.
Whatever feels right to dissolve that emotional charge and bring that part back into wholeness.
And the claim is doing this repeatedly.
Heals the upset layer by layer. Every upset is healable this way, and each time you do it, you supposedly get closer to your twin flame. They say consistent effort brings lasting change.
They also mention potential upheaval afterwards, like a clearing out.
Yeah, sometimes needing rest, feeling old energy shift. It can be peaceful or feel a bit resistant, apparently, as things rebalance.
Now, here's a really significant part. They claim healing yourself with this exercise automatically heals your twin flame.
Yes, because you share the same consciousness. That's the core teaching. Healing your side of the shared field impacts the whole field, including them.
But they do stress this isn't about manipulation, right? It's not trying to make your twin flame do something.
Oh, they're very clear on that. It's for healing yourself first and foremost. The advice is to do the inner work, use the exercise, and then surrender your twin flame journey to God. Let go of controlling the outcome.
Surrender comes up a lot alongside the intense inner work. Okay. The sources also suggest this whole journey is incredibly hard to do alone.
They definitely position it that way. They say it can be challenging, even nearly impossible, without expert support. They warn about getting lost in the woods of separation.
And this is where they introduce Twin Flames Universe, TFU, as a potential source of that support.
Exactly. TFU was presented as offering guidance through those challenges. They claim to have a specific process to guide people all the way home to your eternal love.
What kind of support do they mention?
Well, a big part is the community, a growing community of fellow spiritual seekers. For support, friendship, and they use this phrase, voting your victory, which seems to mean holding the positive vision for each other.
And they offer more structured help, too, like courses or coaching.
Yes, things like Twin Flame Ascension School and Certified Ascension Coaches. These are presented as experts trained specifically in their methods, guiding people through upsets, using the mirror exercise, aiming for deeper peace.
And the message seems to be that achieving union isn't just luck.
Right. They claim success isn't reserved for the lucky or special, but it's possible for anyone who uses their support and tools.
And they provide examples, success stories.
Yeah, they share a couple. Michaela and Jose achieved union, moved to Spain, found financial success, apparently, and Steins met and married his twin flame in Belgium, became a coach himself.
These are presented as proof their system works.
Pretty much. Trusting the experts who have been doing this for years, people who, they say, genuinely care about your journey. They also mention a twin flame test as a first step for people interested.
Okay, so there's the personal journey, the mirroring, the exercise, potential external support. But the sources also bring in astrology, a cosmic layer.
They do. They talk about a profound energetic shift happening for everyone right now and how that affects these twin flame journeys specifically.
They focus on Gemini season, which is roughly late May to late June. Why Gemini?
They frame it as a turning point. Gemini represents duality, the twins, which obviously connects, but also the mirror concept and the movement toward union.
And Mercury rules Gemini, right? Planet of communication.
Exactly. So they say Mercury is influencing communication between twins now, maybe bringing more synchronicities, messages, that kind of thing.
They also highlighted specific moon phases within this season.
Yeah. A recent new moon in Gemini around May 26 was about communication, truth, self-expression, setting intentions like a fresh start in how you communicate internally and externally.
And then there's an upcoming full moon.
Full moon in Sagittarius around June 11th. That shifts the focus, they say, to the bigger picture. Spiritual growth, potential revelations, expanding your perspective, maybe challenging old limiting beliefs.
And how do these energies affect individuals? It depends on their charts.
Right. They say these energies activate different themes based on your own zodiac sign and chart placements. Areas like communication, values, transformation, intuition, trust, all get highlighted differently for different people.
And because of the mirroring.
You need to consider your twin flames chart too.
Yeah.
What's being activated for them is relevant to your shared experience.
So the takeaway for Gemini season, according to these sources,
It's an active time. It requires clarity, being intentional with communication, how you talk to yourself, how you potentially interact externally. It's about consciously navigating that duality inherent in the connection.
that tension between, say, freedom and closeness, thinking and feeling.
Exactly, navigating that balance. And the guidance is to choose connection with intention during this period.
Okay, so pulling all these threads together from the sources, we have this core idea of twin flames as one soul. We have the divine masculine's intense inner journey, the regrets, the fear, the slow steps. We have the mirroring effect based on shared consciousness.
Then there's the mirror exercise, presented as the key tool for healing that inner state, which then reflects outward. Plus the option of seeking expert support, like through TFU, which claims a guided path.
And layered over all that, the current cosmic energies like Gemini season influencing the dynamics.
Yeah, and the whole narrative presented in these sources leads towards this goal of harmonious twin flame union, which they describe as eternal love and living your dream life.
It's definitely painted as a challenging path, but one with specific rules and tools laid out in this material.
It is, which leads to a pretty mind-bending final thought, based purely on the logic presented in these sources.
Go on.
Well, if twin flames really are one soul, eternally connected, destined for union, and if your entire external reality, including everything your twin does or doesn't do, is just a perfect mirror of your own inner state, then how much of this journey that feels like it's happening out there between you and another person is actually just unfolding entirely within that shared consciousness,
Yeah.
within essentially you? It's
Yeah.
quite the perspective they offer.
Yeah.
Definitely something to mull over.